Hello, what's up guys, babies? It's your girl GB SYD. Welcome back to another video. I haven't recorded a video in 3 months since I did my 6-month update. I am now 9 months, 36 weeks pregnant. I'm on maternity leave, and so a lot has happened. Today's video is going to be one that I'm super excited about. I've taken some notes, probably before we did this video, so I don't want to get too loosey-goosey or get too personal, too open, but I am going to be talking about dating fails, times that I played the victim, how I've healed, over this past 17 months of being single. And so I'm just excited about this video, guys, and I hope you stick around, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Okay, let's get to it. So number one is being a side chick. I've talked about being a side chick before. If a man says he got a girlfriend, you need to go about your business, okay? Like, I don't know what it is why some of us women enjoy being side chicks. I mean, I do know what it is, right? Low self-esteem, lack of dignity, lack of standards, right? But just stop. Like, you meet a man, he said I got a girlfriend, literally going about your business. So that's number one that I wrote down. Number two is making the first move. And I'm going to be collectively talking about boyfriends and people that I've just talked to and dated. And I find that, well, clearly none of the relationships have been super successful, but I do find that when I have approached a man first, I just don't really like the rest of the dynamic that it creates throughout the relationship. And so I just wish I wasn't so desperate, in my dating history. So I will never make the first move going forward. It's just not for me. That's my personal opinion, is I'm not making the first move. No, ma'am. Number three is dating or sleeping with men who aren't that attracted to you. So I'm not talking about men who have, they don't really have a type. They just think, they just like pretty women, so they don't care, if she's tall, skinny, fat, short, blah, blah, blah. But, in my experience, specifically with one of, my exes, the night that I hooked up with my ex, he had told me that another woman was his dream girl, and we didn't look alike at all, didn't act the same, weren't built the same. And this was the same man who commented on my weight, told me to lose weight throughout the relationship. So, yeah, I think over time he probably grew a deeper level of attraction to me. But one thing that I be praying about, y'all, is, how some people are like, attraction grows, and I do agree with that, because a lot of times when women are trying to, they want to be married or whatnot, you'll hear a lot of dating advice. It's like, don't just go for your preference, don't just, maybe it's okay to date the man with no red flags if he's not as attractive. And while I don't disagree with it, I think for me personally, I want my husband to be attracted to me from the moment he sees me, whether I'm 180, whether I'm 160, whether I'm 200. That is my personal prerogative, is I want a man who's attracted to me. And I don't want to be with a man who makes comments in any way about my body that could make me feel even the slightest bit of insecure. So if a man has never been with a chubby woman, I don't want to be with you. I'm chubby, I'm short, I'm chubby, I'm light skinned. So if you like tall, skinny, brown skinned women, and that's all you've really been attracted to, I mean, it's why even come my way? If you don't like women with stretch marks, if you don't like women with saggier breasts, if you only like a certain type of woman and I don't fit that description, no shame, brother. Just don't look my way. Don't look my way. Don't, we get to talking, you think I'm cool, you think I'm funny. Now, I'm kind of cute to you. You want to kind of get to know me, kind of be in my pants. You better go on to somebody else now. going to somebody else. Okay. Dating L's that I've taken: confronting red flag behavior but still choosing to stay in the relationship, situationship, whatever. So I'm somebody who, I will express when something bothers me. I will express if I see something that is like, oh no, sir. But the problem that I had in the past was I would address something and then not leave the relationship. So, for example, now if a man commented on my weight, I would just be done with him. I'm gonna be honest, I would just be done with him. But in the past, if a man commented on my weight, I would just say, you shouldn't comment on my weight. And then say he did it again, and it's the same argument. Boy, why is you commenting on my weight? Okay. I already told you one time to stop commenting on my weight. You didn't. So now the boundary is, if you comment on my weight again, I will no longer be in this relationship. Versus saying, do not comment on my weight. That's not a boundary. You get what I'm saying? So there is a difference between setting a boundary and then just expressing something that you don't like. So, okay. Number 5, accepting less than what you deserve. This is an obvious one, but yeah, I just think back to some of my relationships, and even though there were good points, or even though there was times where maybe one of my exes was doing me really, really great, I have also tolerated things that if my homegirl was going through it, or if I seen it in a movie, or if I seen a TV show, whatever, I would be like, no ma'am. So that's a basic one. But really, it's like, and a preference too, y'all, is, so before I even got into a lot of my foolishness dating endeavors, I had already knew what I was looking for in a man. I kind of knew my non-negotiables. I knew what my standards were just from like the men that I've talked to in the past. So a lot of the men that I dated or have been in relationships with, I didn't even like them. In the beginning, I think about my last boyfriend, didn't even like him. My boyfriend before that, didn't like him in the beginning either. Boyfriend before that, didn't like him in the beginning either. Now, obviously, I grew to like them, and, you know, my last one I grew to love, but I didn't even like the men. And I knew I didn't like them. And at the end of the relationship, the things that I didn't like in the beginning, I didn't magically start liking them. So I was never really a dummy. I was never really naive. I think I was just super insecure and unfocused and didn't have any vision. And so just coming from a Christian perspective, like when you're unfocused and you're not working on your calling and you're not in relationship with God, it's so easy to accept worldly things that you know are wrong, or that you know you don't want to be a part of, but you do it anyway. And so that was a dating L, okay, for me. Number 6 is telling men everything you've been through. So I don't know, like I see this a lot where people put on social media, I gave my all to a man and he crapped on it, or I told him how I was done bold and then he did the same thing to me. I'm always a stepping stool. Like men, I'm always the woman that men are with before they get to the one that they really want. And some of it I think is a little bit of a victim mentality. I don't think they know that they're having a victim mentality, but what did I just say? Tell me everything you've been through. Okay. So yeah, next man I date, I'm not gonna sit there and break down a whole synopsis of what men have put me through. Next man that I date, I'm not gonna give them a breakdown of everything that went wrong in my relationship. I have done a couple videos on some of them, and I'm doing this video, but I'm just not about to tell a man everything I've been through. Like, it's unnecessary, especially if he's your boyfriend or like you're dating. Husband is different. You guys have a deeper level of commitment, but and intimacy and relationship. But yeah, that's just not me. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Why you and your ex break up? He wasn't God's will for my life. Next question. What's the worst thing you've been through in a relationship? I don't even think about them relationships. I don't know. You tell me. Actually, don't even tell me. I don't even care. I don't care what's the worst thing you've been through. Boy, I do not care. So that's just my mentality. Personal boundaries are good. Corrosive control is not. Corrosive. I don't know how to say that word, but what I meant by this is if a man goes, I don't date women who dress immodestly in public. Fair enough. You put on an immodest outfit, your boyfriend says, babe, you can wear what you want, but I'm not going to be in a relationship with a woman who dresses like that. She proceeds to go out in that outfit and you break up with her. Okay, your personal preference. But to say, oh, if you go out in that outfit, you're going to come back home single. Oh, no. So I think I definitely have dealt with a lot of control in my relationships, and I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it. I've just learned so much that in my past relationships and just dating and being single, I'm probably gonna be the type of woman that when I meet my husband, we're just probably gonna come pretty correct and whole. You know what I mean? We're not gonna have to probably go through a whole bunch of sorting through a toxic phase or, you know, helping him grow up from boy to manhood. Like, I just don't think that'll be my testimony. And I'm obviously not talking about being a helpmeet or, you know, providing, you know, like you and your husband both help each other grow. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that some of these kinks are going to be worked out. Like, men who are broken are not attractive to me. Men who have a lot of deep trauma and issues that they haven't sorted through is not attractive. Even in friendships, when I meet people and people like trauma dump or they project a lot of what they've been through on others, or you can tell that they're not like in a healthy, stable mindset. I mean, I do have a couple people in my life like that, but the relationships that I have with them, it ends up a lot of times being more like mentor-mentee. I don't know. I'm just not attracted to brokenness in this stage of my life. I'm not saying you have to have it all the way together, but that's just me personally. Then I made a segment on how I'm healing. So as I've told y'all in other videos, you guys know that I had came out of a pretty, you know, goofy relationship. And in my healing journey, what has really helped me is taking accountability for my actions. So going back to red flags, I knew what kind of man I wanted. And I knew that from my ex before that, from just men that I've dated in between. Well, I haven't dated anybody between, like, when I broke up. Like, what am I trying to say? My ex was the last man that I was involved with, like, in a dating way. Okay, clearly I'm pregnant, so not in a hookup way, but in a dating way. And here's some ways that I've kind of sped up my healing process. Number one is taking accountability for my actions. So again, I told y'all I wasn't stupid. Before I was in my last relationship, and even the one before that, I had felt God called me to a season of singleness. I have felt like I had some clarity on what type of man I wanted, what I would tolerate, what I would not tolerate, deal breakers, non-negotiables, whatnot. So when I got involved with these men, or even the hookup buddies that I had as well in between that time period, none of them were husband material. Literally, none of them were husband material. So instead of being like, oh, my ex is a big, bad, bully, abusive a-hole. Okay, yes, he was an a-hole. Yes, he was abusive. But also, like, I seen that he was controlling probably within I'll say at least the first 3 months, if not sooner. I seen it. I approached him about it. And I went on about my or I didn't go on about my business. I continued in the foolishness. Okay, seeing that he was controlling, seeing that he was possessive. With my other exes, there was a lot of lying, a lot of cheating. I had one ex when I was living back in Michigan. I had one ex that would like stay at my house. So we weren't living together, but he would stay at my place with me for a little bit, and like he would come back to my crib at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but not answer his phone the entire time, answering his location off. Like, girl. And then come home and make me feel crazy and that I was tripping. Like, girl, you was not stupid. Like, you know what that man was doing. He was on something. He was on something. So, yeah, I just had to take accountability for the fact that I am not a victim. Like, I participated in a lot of foolishness that happened to me, and didn't necessarily ignore red flags. Like, I would confront them, but then I would still continue to date or to see the person. And so, yeah, what's been helping me heal is just saying, Sid, like, the world wasn't out to get you. Like, you are not this beat up, broken individual who people always constantly doodle on. Like, that is not it. You actively participated in multiple relationships and hookups that you had no business being in, and you knew that from the beginning. And because of your own loneliness, because of your own insecurities, low self, whatever the case may be, you chose to engage with these individuals. And then you can't, I mean, it's normal to feel, you know, hurt when people betray you or do something crazy towards you. But I mean, I just really think like some of it is, what did I expect would happen? You know what I mean? Like, one guy I was with, like I said, the one who commented on my body, the one who told me that, hooked up with him the same night that he said that he had another dream girl that we mutually, not were cool with, but we mutually knew. Like, girl, you should have said, oh my God, like, I hope you get her. I hope you get her, right? And so to expect that a man who compared you to other women, and, you know, I'm like, girl, he didn't respect you. Come on, like, were you that, is it that shocking that he put hands on you and he didn't respect you? Is it that shocking? Again, and you knew he was abusive on top of that. Is it that shocking? I mean, to me, it's not that shocking. So, enough rambling, let me go to number 2. Getting clear on my deal breakers. So, again, I already knew my deal breakers, but one major thing for me now is a man who lacks character. No. It's just not, it's not going to work. I mean, I think back to when I have dated a couple men who sold drugs. I say sell drugs, it was weed and a little bit of coke. Okay, that was it. But, you know, one thing, like, when I talk about lack character, I mean, I guess like character, morals, whatever, because when they would ask to stash things like in my apartment, I would be like, no. Like, I'm too suburban for this lifestyle. Like, no way you cannot stash no drugs in my apartment. You know, people who scam, like, I don't want nobody who scam, one, because you go to jail, but 2, why are you taking something that's not yours? You scamming people, like, ugh. Like, what a lack of character. Like, ew, you scam people? You absolutely suck. So, I don't know. The men who are scammers, fraudulent behaviors, sell drugs, and don't, like, if you even sell the harder drugs, now I'm judging, because now I feel like you're just killing people. You're just aiding and people dying. Like, that's wild. I remember one situation where, you know, a boyfriend told me, ex told me how he had to get a little rough with somebody, and he was like getting angry, like demonic angry, you know, like, oh, I want to kill somebody. That's crazy. That is crazy to me. That person did not do nothing to you for you to be killing them. Like, they have to die? No. Mm-mm. You know, and I'm not even anti-violence. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not anti-violence, but I think I'm reasonably. It's gotta have a good reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe somebody mess with your kid. You know, somebody mess with your mama. You know, but like, you just don't like them, and you want to kill. That's wild. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next one. Number 3 is allowing God to renew my heart. So I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but just praying like, God, expose my heart, expose the ways in which I've been hardened, expose the ways in which I've been deceived. I noticed so I would say in like one of my relationships, I had been prophesied over probably a couple months before that I would find that this would be the year of love. So when I started dating this man, from the beginning, I kind of knew that he wasn't God's best. Like, I knew he wasn't God's best, but I was just kind of seeing how things unfolded. And I think I started to entertain the idea of like, well, maybe he could be God, the one for me, or maybe he could, and, you know, and all these things. And even in a separate relationship, I started to think, okay, God can redeem our love story. That used to be my thing. God can redeem us. And so I've had instances on 2 different occasions with only these 2 men where I considered, well, maybe this is God's, maybe God could do something with this relationship, but no. I mean, it just was a no. It was absolutely a no. And I think just I got caught up in being delulu, like, and I don't know why people are on this trend of enjoying being delusional. Excuse me, but no, ma'am. I don't want to be delusional. I don't want to be deceived. I don't want to be seeing something from an incorrect perspective. Like, I just don't want to. Even when I find myself tripping a little bit, I'll sit and pray and be like, okay, God, like, is there a different side to this? Because it's just no way. It's no way. Okay. Number 4 is casting down thoughts. So when I get lustful thoughts, when I get thoughts about romanticizing relationships that could have worked out, even if it's in friendships, romantic relationships, I cast down those thoughts. I mean, I cast down everything that just opposes or tries to come contrary to the word of God. Like, oh, you don't really have to wait until marriage, or it's okay to live with somebody. Like, again, I've lived with a man once and then had a man stay with me from time to time. Both times I was against shacking up, both times. And just still entertain thoughts of, it's not that bad, it's not that serious. Please, you better cast that thought down. God is not calling you to live with your boyfriend. Okay? Okay? It's that simple. He's not calling you to live with your boyfriend. Especially one that you fornicate with. I mean, really. Really, okay? Be for real. Okay. Number 5, I kind of already said this, but no longer romanticizing what could have been. So, especially in the earlier stages of being, in the earlier stages of going through my heartbreak, definitely had a lot of thoughts of, okay, if I did this differently, we would have been all right. If I would have done this, or if we would have gotten to counseling sooner, or if we would have just not, you know, done that or that. The relationship folded out the way that it did. It ended the way it did. Accept it, make peace with it, and move on. Okay? Every time I went back to talking to somebody that I felt God had told me, okay, that's enough. I'm not just talking about my last ex. I'm talking about every person that I had went back to, whether we were just talking, dating, whatever, every time I went back, it got worse and worse. I felt worse about myself, or maybe things between us were strayed. I've never ended things off on a good note and then double backed and then like it got better. Or do you guys get what I'm saying? Like I never ended something, I never wanted to end something, went back to it, and it was like, okay, that was worth the closure. That was worth ending it off like that. Nope. Never. Never ever. That's just my experience. Never ever. Because I've been in so many toxic relationships that foolishness, just so much foolishness, y'all. And so I would have avoided so much heartache and pain if I would have just listened the first time and used wisdom. Because if I used wisdom, if I was using wisdom, I would have never dated anybody that I dated. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Okay. Number 6, accepting the relationship for what it was. Okay, so I just talked about that. Number 7 for me now, my healing stage is I don't casually date or hook up. Literally, like I said in my having a baby out of wedlock video, except for that 1 week in December where I was on tomfoolery, I do not casually date. I do not casually hook up. When I broke up with my last boyfriend, when we broke up, I literally said to myself, the next man I date is sent from God himself, from the good Lord. If the good Lord didn't send him, I don't want him. I don't want him. I really don't. So I'd be lying if I said that I haven't, done a little flirting here or there. But the furthest it's gone is maybe exchanging an Instagram account, and it never goes anywhere. Why? I'm not interested. And a lot of times it's like, so you guys know I had a traveling job, so, meet a cute guy, might exchange Instagrams, but that's it. Like, that's it. So yeah, I don't casually date. I don't casually hook up. I'm not interested. Next time I plan on being on my back is on my wedding night. Okay, on my wedding night. Let me get some water. Last thing that I put on here is I no longer try to villainize my exes or other women involved. So I think it's so easy when your ex moves on or you guys break up. It's so easy to kind of like bash other women, or maybe when you guys were involved, you sit there and you try to be like, what do they even have on me? Like, even if it could not even be about looks, right? It's just, boy, how can this lady help you even achieve your dreams? Like, you want to be this in life and you think somebody like that is going to help you get there. Like, even if the principle of what I'm saying is not wrong per se, because depending on your assignment and calling, you do need a certain type of individual, right? However, I realized that a lot of that was just stemming from, again, insecurity, jealousy, bitterness. And so for me, instead of trying to pick another woman apart, if you go back to my old videos, you'll see. Instead of trying to pick these women apart, it's like, they're not the problem. They have their own thing that they're going through. You had your own reasons for being attracted to dealing with them. Exes that I've had in the past, like, it's just no longer my concern. Who you date after we're done, what women you're with. Again, I'm not even just talking about my ex-boyfriend. I'm talking about exes in general. It's not my concern who you date. It's not my job to pick them apart. Like, who's cuter, or even if they're cuter, like, well, does she like me? hey, that's not my business. It's not my business. That's a thought you got to cast down. You shouldn't even be concerned. Don't even be concerned about nothing like that. I'm not over here. Like I said, I've taken accountability. Yes, have I dated some toxic and abusive men? Yep, sure have. And I've also have been toxic, and I wouldn't actually call myself abusive, but I have done some abusive behaviors. Okay, all right. And I've been disrespectful in relationships. I've called men the B word, tell men to shut the F up. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to men crazy. So I'm just no longer interested in like villainizing the people that I used to date. I don't care what they're on. I don't care what they do. Some of them, I just wish them genuinely the best. Others, I just like think so little of them that they could get hit by a bus and I probably just wouldn't even care. And I don't know, like, I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing. Maybe I didn't have to say that on camera, but so yeah, y'all. So these were some of my dating failures and mistakes. Whew. You know, you be out of breath when you're pregnant. Okay. Is there anything else? Nope. I did release a song a couple months ago called Chosen Sheep. Go ahead and go stream it. I think I told you I'm working on my EP. Next videos that I have coming out is I'm going to be talking about fails that my failures as a Christian, like things that I just wish I would have gone back and did way differently. Cause I was playing. Like, I look back at some of the things I've done, y'all, to like people, some of the things that I've said and just a lack of wisdom. And I just think to myself, like, why did I do that? So yes, anyways, y'all have a good one. I'm gonna try to get this edited tonight and posted tomorrow. Whew, it's 8:18. Whew, Lord, the belly. Let's see. I don't want to show completely all of it because I don't got no pants on, but that's the belly. 39 weeks. Any day now, my little stinky steak. Y'all, people been asking me, texting me, calling me, is the baby here yet? Stop asking me. Stop asking me. Because I'm childish. And when he do come, I'm not going to tell a soul. Then you're going to really be thrown through a loop.